Good evening, Razorback fans. Welcome to Hog Talk Thursday, presented to you by Vision Exteriors. Tonight's episode, we're going to talk about Mississippi State game for the Razorbacks on Saturday. Softball season starts this weekend. We'll talk about SEC revenue sharing and how many people looked up hyaluronic acid today. So we'll start off with the ski jumping. No, just kidding. No, we'll start off. Arkansas had a week off to prepare for Mississippi State, and on the road, that must win. It's one of them things that you can't drop two in a row on the road, or two in a row with this game being on the road, because we know how Arkansas's played on the road, and you don't want to get into this where you've been able to command your home play. Already, the game against OU, you played terrible, squeaked out that win, and we can't have a repeat performance as we did the other night. I mean, we got to have Carter Knox, Nick Pringle step up. Acuff's got to take control of the game early. We got to find where these guys have been missing. So, a very important game for Arkansas on Saturday.
Yeah, this is going to be a game, and that I think I was listening to halftime earlier this week, and Matt Jones kind of touched on it, and we always knew kind of the hump. Mississippi State's a kind of a weird place to play at. The atmosphere is a little bit weird, and Matt Jones made a point. He was like, "Hey, y'all are going to hear people talking. You're going to hear people eating their popcorn. You're gonna because there's a lot of just silent moments in that arena." And, then the 11 a.m. tip-off, they brought up, too, Arkansas hasn't won at Mississippi State in 11 years.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So it went back to a coach that I could not even remember. So you even think through Musselman years, and then, we haven't won there in a long time. So get the proverbial monkey off your back, go in there. I believe the matchup predictor on ESPN Analytics has Arkansas 62%, Mississippi State 38%. So this is something I think, this is going to be a battle between Acuff and Hubbard, both averaging over 20 a game. Hubbard puts up, I think, a lot more shots. He's only at 39.9% field goal percentage. I think that this
shot the ball 366 times.
Yeah. I think this is a game that we're going to need a Trevin Brazil or a Malik Ewan. We're going to need a 4 or 5 to show up and show out this game, because Mississippi State's bigs, it's the Hubbard show for Mississippi State, and that's about it. So I think you're going to have to give Carter Knox Carter Knox needs help too. Give Darius Acuff some help. But at the same time, Darius Acuff needs to step up this game. Not have a 5-point first half like he did against Kentucky. You're going to have a point guard that's going to be coming at you. So here you go. It's going to be guard versus guard in this game.
Yeah, you again, we've said this a couple of times this year. You got to prove that was a fluke performance, that you're not going to start a trend. The hump, I know it's funny, but you can turn it into, you don't want to get in this hump. You don't want to get into this lull. It's too important part of the season. You'd much rather this happen at the first of the SEC season, opposed to, we're in February. Before you blink your eye, it's going to be tournament season. You can't start. I say this every year at this time. It's at the point where the committee is looking at these last 7 to 10 games. How do they finish the last 10 games? That's a huge metric on how you get seeded. And you're looking at, you go back to Hubbard. Not only does he shoot a lot of shots, he gets to the rim and gets fouled.
Mm-hmm.
He has shot 133 free throws. Granted, he's only 79%. But still, you're playing at Mississippi State. You're playing at 11 o'clock, and you have another guy, Jaden Epps. He shot 137 threes. So, the biggest thing when you look at when Arkansas loses these games, they're beating Arkansas at their own game. Other guys are stepping up. So when you look down the list, Jabari McGee averaging 8 points a game, Quincy Ballard averaging 6 points a game, and then Sergey Makura averaging 5.8. You can't have three of those guys all of a sudden blow up for 15, 16 points a game. You can't let the bigs down low out rebound you. Your top rebounder, Quincy Ballard, is only at 6, and a chore is 6.5 boards a game. You can't let them body you. And what's important, like we've seen in the Kentucky game, is Kentucky went out to a 13-5 lead. They realized from the jump they had a chance in that game. If you would have flipped script and Arkansas would have jumped out to a 13-5 lead and then kept the pedal down, took care of the game, Kentucky would have never been in the game. You can't give these guys a chance. They're sitting at 11-11, 3-6 in conference. You definitely can't lose this game.
And let me tell you what's Arkansas's, because we talked about their next games coming up last show.
Okay.
Because this is something that you can't look ahead. Okay, Mississippi State, then you're at LSU. So you got back-to-back road games. Then you're home against Auburn on Valentine's Day at Alabama. So, I mean, you're to a point you've put yourself in a position. Yes, Arkansas is 6-3 in conference, but you've put yourself in a position to where you really can't afford, in my opinion, to drop back-to-back games. Because where you're at too, you've got 4 home games left. You got to look at, you're going to have to win those just to get to 20 wins. And we're kind of in this world that, I mean, you're going to need to kind of maybe get 2 to 3 road wins here out of your next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've got 5 road games left, 4 home games. So, I mean, essentially you need to go 6-3 over your next 9 games.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I mean, just not necessarily to win the SEC or anything, but just to stay afloat at this point. Keep yourself in the top 25, because like we talked about, you're now flirting with dropping out of the top 25 if you lose this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see. Yeah, let me share this, because you bring that up and look at the standings right quick in the SEC. I mean, you see where Arkansas is right now, sitting 6-3. But look what that loss did. Now you went to 4th. And look who's above you, Kentucky. You lose 1 or 2 of these games, you're sitting at 7-4, 6-5. Now, where are you at compared to Tennessee and Vandy? Where are you at? Where are you seated at in the SEC tournament? Are you going to have to play a Wednesday, Thursday? This is a critical week, and against opponents that you should dominate against. So you've got Florida sitting at the top 7-2, A&M 7-2, Kentucky 7-3. And when you look at the schedule, you've got to play Alabama still, Auburn. You got A&M still. I know Missouri's sitting there at 5-4.
You're at Florida also.
At Florida.
You're 3rd from last game. So that little run right there, I mean, Auburn, at Alabama, Missouri, Texas A&M, at Florida, you're at a risk right there. So, we talked about early in the season getting ahead on the SEC, on your SEC record, just because other teams that'll be fighting for spots at the end of the conference season. But you're now in that position. You can't drop too many of these. So I truly think you've got to go 6-3 over these next 9 games. And transplant, I feel like, there's been, the Vanderbilt game.
Home games. I mean, they've done that in plenty of home games, but I'm
looking at the Vanderbilt just to see. So Vanderbilt took a little bit. Arkansas jumped out 11-2, 13-2. So, Arkansas held a 10-digit lead, a 10-plus digit lead for the majority of the first half against Vanderbilt.
South Carolina, you're up 50-38 at the half.
Yeah. Arkansas was only up 11 against Vanderbilt at halftime, but I mean, you jumped up to 14, 15, 16-point lead against Vanderbilt early in that game. But yeah, like you were just talking about, like these home games, obviously on the road, completely different story.
That's when you look at SEC, Vanderbilt and South Carolina is the only ones. Because you look at your game against LSU, squeak that out 85-81, and then you squeak that. They're going through something. And I think if you would have, read between the lines, Cal's been kind of alluding to this. And this is not something that we're going to hear later on down the road. He's kind of alluded to the fact that some of these guys need to quit worrying about the money and play. And not, Darius A-Cup, he had to sit him down because he didn't like how he's playing. And at this point in time, when you're winning, you kind of let it go in one ear and out the other. But now you're starting to see, yes, and I'll take the 2 wins, that 4-point win, 2 4-point wins, and then a loss to Kentucky. You can't go into this game against Mississippi State and lose. I mean, I don't care if it's a 2-point win. So, because you got at LSU, like you said, and then you got Auburn, Alabama right after that. It goes back to what I said a few weeks ago. We are being hard on this team. We are being hard on these expectations because they are Sweet 16 expectations. You're a Sweet 16 type team. You're an Elite 8 type team. You have all these McDonald's All-Americans. You have a Hall of Fame coach. You have all the money. You have everything that you want out of a basketball program. There should be no excuses. So when they go on this stretch, and you had this game where Kentucky outplayed you, they wanted it more than you did. You have to hold a lot of weight to that because that says who you are as a team. Where are you at mentally? Because if you don't think you're not going to get some 7-10 seed ready to knock you off in the first round of the NCAA tournament to upset you, you better come ready to play every game from here on out.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we just need more European G League players.
Yeah. We need something because apparently, that's what's working everywhere else. We got all these guys that are and we can segue into that real quick. Nate Oates. I mean, he acts like these guys are coming in and averaging 25, 30 points a game. These are guys that have never played college ball. These are guys that have never went to the NBA draft, and you're talking about these professional leagues and overseas that it's comparable. They've never played American ball. It's different.
Go
ahead.
It's just, Nate Oates is
he's a scumbag, is what he
100%. And I mean, his quote with the Field of 68, any coach with a European pro is pretty hypocritical if they're talking about Charles. There's really not a huge or a big difference. We have to have consistent rules. Right now, those rules favor international kids. Mm-hmm. My whole thing with it is you're getting players that have been drafted. You're getting players that have signed, and this is other places, but mainly Alabama because Bediako's actually playing. But you're getting guys that have signed these 2-way contracts. You're getting guys that couldn't hack it in the G League. And some of them, that you're hearing the names of, some of them never even saw a court of the G League. But the fact is, because they went back overseas after going through the draft and stuff. But the fact is you sign or you put yourself into the NBA draft. Mm-hmm. You followed through with the NBA draft. I'm sorry, at that point, you forfeited whatever eligibility you had. And I'm still kind of, which I haven't seen an update or anything, but the women's point guard for Kansas State, on the women's team.
Yeah.
The NCAA came out, and sat her because she signed a pro contract for an Australian league that will start after the season.
I've seen that.
And they said since she signed the contract, she can't play. But you have guys that have stepped foot on an NBA court. You have guys that have signed two-way contracts with the G League and the NBA, and you're allowing this. I mean, talk about hypocritical.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, as Transplanted Texan points out, our Euro guys are on the bench. And that's something I brought up here recently. Hey, you know who rebounds? The Euro League.
Yep.
Put these guys out there to rebound. Show them in practice how to rebound, like whatever the case may be. Like, I just don't get that. But it's whatever we can do now to get the edge. And apparently right now it's G League players.
Let me see. I'm going to see if they have reinstated her. Her name's Tess Hill.
Yeah.
Additional game. So this was 3 days ago. Tess Hill to sit out an additional game due to NCAA violation, reinstated on Monday. So Kansas State women's basketball player, senior guard Tess Hill, will be held out of an additional game due to NCAA violation. The final decision from the NCAA was a 10% withholding from competition basketball based on the number of games scheduled. They had 31 games. So she got reinstated, but still yet.
You're punishing her.
You're punishing her and doing the exact opposite for the men's.
Is it because she didn't go hire a lawyer and them get a judge that was a Kansas State alum?
Maybe not. Yeah.
But here's the thing, too, is, I mean, the NCAA is the one who granted Bediako the chance to even come to Alabama. And I'm just sitting, like, how quick was this process for Charles Bediako to get to Alabama? Because I'm sitting here looking at this, too, like, the time it takes to get these people, to get these players, like, enrolled in school. So you're telling me, like, you had his transcript ready to go, like you had everything. And I know he used to go to Alabama, so maybe it's easier for them to get him re-enrolled.
That didn't matter because remember the LSU player that was past the deadline to enroll by a week. They moved the goalpost so he can go. So LSU can't talk on any of that stuff because they stretched the rules so they could get their player to be in spring practice. So it's we come to don't be surprised by anything the NCAA does. I was, however, surprised that Greg Sankey was wanting to uphold this NCAA deal. I don't think he wants to deal with the mess because you think it's bad now with this revenue and you're opening up the floodgates. You're seeing people come out of the woodworks who went to the G League. Now they're going it's going to ruin everything. And the hypocritical part from him, he's talking about integrity. Let's sit this out when we're talking about integrity of the game, because nothing that any of these business people do, these lawyers, you see these Alabama lawyers, dying on these hills. Well, you're a lawyer. You're going to do that. But for him to say integrity of the game and we want what's best for these student athletes, I will say this before we hit a quick break. I do feel bad for Charles if this, in fact, does not go his way, because he is going to be the one that is hurt in all of this. I know it's hard to hear that. I mean, but unless he's getting money, and because what if he's getting his full NIL money? He plays 3 games and he dips. Then I wouldn't feel so bad. But I'm talking about if he's really trying to come back and play and gain it. And then they're just like, well, I feel like Alabama's using him to try to, I don't know. Nato said, I need to go get more people so we can rebound and win games. So I would feel bad if it is, but unless he's getting that full NIL contract or whatever he's supposed to get, and then I don't feel bad for him at all. Because then I'm going to think this is more fishy than anything of he don't care. He's going to get his bag and run anyway.
I just look at it like you averaged 4.3 points in the G League this season, because those are your 25-26 stats. I don't know however many games it was, but I look at it kind of like we've talked about, or the Gilbert Arenas clip, which I have that for when we get after break.
Yeah,
since we're on this, we might as well. But going and getting 24, 25, 26-year-old players to play against 18 and 19-year-olds, I would hope that these guys were decent.
Mm-hmm.
Truly. I would hope that you would be able to put up some points, average 12 points a game against 18 and 19-year-olds. So I look at this like, hey, guess what? Like, you can't basically fit in with the competition of the G League. So you're dropping down a level in a sense, because like Gilbert Arenas will point out in that clip, 90% of college athletes will not go pro. They will not make it pro. So you made it to the G League. You're not that good, averaging 4 points a game. So you're going to drop down so you can play against 18 and 19-year-olds to get your stats back up.
Mm-hmm.
And I just look at it as whatever happens to him at Alabama on the court, I just look at like, you know what, like I feel nothing. You're trying to gain the edge by playing against a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds.
I get that. I get that part of it. But
I look at it like the kid that was held back for athletic reasons.
Yeah.
And you've got a kid that's, should be in 9th grade playing 7th grade.
Yeah.
Or you've got that kid that's already, hit that growth spurt and he's going against playing a bunch of middle schoolers when he should be playing on like the JV team.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a competitive edge that shouldn't be there.
Well, what we'll do, we'll take a quick commercial break, hear a word from our sponsors over at Vision Exteriors, and we'll just carry on the conversation when we come back.
Looking to enhance your home's curb appeal? Look no further than Vision Exteriors. As your trusted roofing, siding, and exterior experts, we're here to transform your property. Our skilled team ensures your job is not only functional, but also aesthetically pleasing. Along with roofing, we also offer window, gutter, and siding installation to boost your home's appearance with our quality options. Visit us at www.visionexteriors.com or call us at 479-397-4770. Let's make your vision a reality.
And want to welcome you back to the Hawg Talk podcast. Yeah, carry on the conversation. Yeah, Gilbert Arenas did have some interesting things. It's vulgar, but it's bleeped out. So forgive us on that. But here's the clip.
You know how bad you have to be if you're 25, 6, 7 in college? Nobody's drafting him.
Oh, they can help you win.
Your ass, that's your college.
They can help you win.
How many games you played in college basketball? 60, 70, 100?
What?
And you can't name the best player you played in your position. It kind of tells
Marcus Fizer. Marcus Fizer.
Perfect.
He was the 4th pick in the draft.
It kind of tells you the landscape of real college basketball. Personally.
What point are you making?
You haven't played against nobody that was worth playing against in your position. So if you can pull a 26-year-old or a 25-year-old and you put him in the landscape of college basketball, he will be decent, because 90% of college basketball won't make it to the pros. So if I get a 26-year-old and put him against 18 and 19-year-olds, I will hope he can average 10 or 12. 26-year-old in college basketball right now. NBA teams will draft him.
Yes, they did.
But they didn't draft him at 25, 24.
Yeah, and they weren't getting his point. His point is you're taking 25 and 26-year-olds. They're not going to get drafted at this moment in time. Yeah, they were drafted when they were 20 to 23 years old, but they're not going to get drafted now at 26 years old. You're past that point. So they weren't getting that aspect of it, but he's 100% right. Like these guys, I would hope you would be decent at 26 years old playing against 18 and 19-year-olds. I would really hope that you would be decent compared to those guys.
Well, yeah. Because you think about all these NBA players that are averaging 25, 30 points, or let's go 20, 25 points a game at the age of 25 in the NBA. What would they be doing in college?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's just look up Gilbert Arenas.
And I know some of his heatedness comes from the fact that his son plays for USC. So he's seeing it firsthand what his son Elijah's going through, dealing with these 25, 26, 27-year-olds coming back and playing in college.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Gilbert averaged in college, but
when he was 25, let's just go 23, 24, 25. In the NBA, he averaged 25 and a half, 24, 29.3 points a game. And at 25, he averaged 28.4 points a game. You think about his point. if you're good enough to get drafted and play in the NBA and you were this good, what you think about if he left college as a freshman and went back at 23 and played? What would he be doing? What would all these guys be doing? I'm just bringing up Gilbert Arenas because he's really good at UCLA. So he has a point of these guys, unless, like we said last week, unless they have true aspirations of really thinking they can make a difference and get drafted and get on the NBA roster. But it's come to a point to where they're in the G League not making anything. They know that, hey, I'm averaging 10 points a game in G League. I could come to college and average 15, 16 points a game and make $2 million a year.
And then what's their plan?
And not be and not take hardly any classes.
And then what's their plan afterwards? Because you ain't going. I mean, you're going to go back to slumming it in the G League. Because I mean, we've seen. Hey, you want to get to an NBA roster in the G League? You need to be putting up 25 to 30 a game. Mm-hmm. Go ask Ricky Council. Go ask Jordan Walsh. Go ask these guys that more or less paid their dues in the G League. Even Stanley Amude paying their dues in the G League to get to the NBA. I'm sorry. I look at this like an easy way out to make some money because you're not good enough to sniff the court in the NBA. And by all means, if that's what you need to do, do it. But then just admit it.
Yeah.
Or just go overseas and try to go dominate one of those leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, I'm just fed up with it. I just wonder when is enough going to be enough.
Yeah, and the whole thing is, if Nate Oates wouldn't have spoken out against this over the Baylor player and now turned heel, I don't think it would have been that big of a deal. I think that's what made it a big deal, because it's funny when it's Baylor, but now it's your player. Now you want to stand up for him. Now it's okay. Now it's unfair to that player when you're saying it hurts the integrity of the basketball. Well, I'm not really for it, but how could I tell him no, my player? He should have never been your player. That's all it is. So now you have an agent that's probably going to make money off of this.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know, is Nate Oates getting a kickback from this? We don't know, but it's a possibility. And then that player comes and grabs a quick $500K bag. He gets it all up front. And now what happens to now? You want to talk about his team. What about those guys that are on his team playing for him right now? What's the after effects if they do decide that he can't play anymore?
Here's something, just us talking about this, I've wondered, because I don't know the status of Alabama's basketball roster as a whole. So leading up to this point, did y'all have an open roster spot? Did somebody get hurt and lose their roster spot? Is Bediako walking on? Did y'all somehow find him a scholarship? Somebody give up a scholarship? Like, there's more questions here, I feel like, that haven't been asked. Or was this a plan in place that you left a roster spot open for this in case it was to come to fruition? Like, we're all worried about him actually playing on the court, but I'm wondering about the roster.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They have 15 guys on their roster.
That includes him.
Yeah. And stats. I'm looking to see.
2025, 2026, beginning season. I'm just trying to see if anything has changed or if I can find their.
It's hard to say because, I mean, I'm trying to think of. I would say it would have to be a walk-on. I just don't. It says rosters capped at 15 per NCAA settlement.
So I will say that. So I'm looking at sportsreference.com for this season, and they show this season. Now, some of these guys haven't stepped on a court. A couple of them haven't. No, so two guys on Alabama's roster have not recorded any stats whatsoever. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There are 18 players, including Charles Bediako, that have suited up for Alabama. Two of them haven't recorded, so yeah.
Well, and he wants to talk about Arkansas and these other teams that have these
European
professional players. I mean, you can add up. Let's just go.
But that's the thing too, is he's
Caroletta. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Jaden.
Jaden. Okay,
Yeah.
he's averaged 0.8 points a game. Zaffa Elmir, 0.6 points a game. So together, they've averaged 1.4 points a game. You really want to compare the two. You really want to say, well, they got professionals on their roster.
Well, Jaden was out of high school here in America.
So who was the? There was two of them, Elmer
and Rattal, Kareem Rattal.
He's not listed on the.
Because he's been injured.
Okay, so then you only have one then.
So Arkansas's roster, yeah, because Jaden's from Village Christian High School out in California. Okay. You had Paulo Samito, who I believe is redshirting this year, freshman, which he came out of an academy in Orlando, so he's been over here. You know, Kareem Rattal, who is from Lebanon, he played over in Europe. And then you have Elmer. So you have those two, Elmer and you have Rattal. Because Samito came from an academy down in Orlando, Florida. So those are the only two that came directly from overseas.
Yeah.
So,
well, tomorrow we should find out if he's eligible to play or they're going to deny him. But I know that they're going to try to appeal this, but it's going to be, I just feel like this is going to be a lose situation for them, but they're just going to try to milk it for all it's worth and then get to like a tourney seed and then he can't play or something like that where they get postseason eligible or whatnot. But I don't like how it's going. I didn't like it from the jump, and you're going to sit there and try to justify it when you didn't like it. But anyways, moving on in the last segment of the show, the SEC revenue came out. Very staggering $1.03 billion the SEC generated in the 2024-2025 season. So when we had Christina Long on, you're talking about the money. Each team, 1.30 billion. Each team got 18.6 million more than the previous year. So it adds another layer to this. We're broke. Where's our money? How can we afford this? Well, you just got $18.6 million handed to you more just off your TV rights. Where's that going to go? What's that going to be used for? I just don't understand how they're saying that they're broke when these numbers come out afterwards. And
well, it's like we've talked about in years past. I mean, of Arkansas being in the black almost after every fiscal year. We don't have money, but we always are in the black. We always have a surplus. So how do we not have money? And I get it. I don't want Arkansas to be like Florida State, who 73% of their school's debt is from the football program.
Yeah.
So a lot of these schools, Florida State, I believe Rutgers was one that is wildly in debt. And then, with Utah already having their private equity company coming in or whatever, which they're trying to block, there's an attempt for that to be blocked. So that one hasn't fully happened yet. But Florida State, you have this much debt. So just have a private equity company come in and buy up your debt. And me and some friends were talking the other night in our group text, and one of them said, "What happens if somebody defaults on this? Like,
Does the NCAA in their universe?
Yeah, like what happens after this if you have this private equity that comes in and purchases this? Like, I don't think any of that's been talked about. I've never heard anything like that being talked about. But we've been talking about this part of it since 2 Decembers ago, when the former Milwaukee Bucks owner came out talking about wanting to buy like Northwestern or somebody, but here we are. Yes, there's an attempt for it to be blocked, but what's this going to look like? I mean, I feel like at some point you're going to have to get a collective bargaining agreement. You're going to have rules in place. And honestly, if that happens, I would rather see that happen. Collective bargaining agreement, athletic departments, majority bought by some private equity, whatever. If that means that we'll actually get some rules in place. Because as it stands right now, with the open world of the transfer portal and NIL and, oh, hey, we're going to have revenue sharing so that'll help combat NIL. We're going to have this third-party arbitrator. We're going to approve or deny NIL deals over bullshit because you haven't done it. So at the very least, if there's private equity companies that come in and that are purchasing these up, at the very least, if there ends up being a CBA, at least we'll have some rules in place. At least we'll potentially have a salary cap. At least we'll actually have to hold these players accountable for the contracts that they sign, because it's out of hand and it's outside of like watching, Arkansas games. Like, it didn't matter the night of the week. I used to turn on college basketball and just watch whatever game was on. And I don't do that much anymore. No. And a lot of it's just because of how ass backwards college athletics is right now. I would rather watch the professional athletes that will legitimately say I'm a professional athlete versus this shell of a sport or shell of what college athletics that we once knew. It's just, I don't know when the end's going to be the end, but they've let it go too far, and I just fear that nothing's ever going to happen unless you just get bought out, whether it's the super conference in football and the Saudis, whether it's private equity and collective bargaining agreements.
Yeah,
something's got to change because the NCAA doesn't have a big enough backbone to do anything.
I think they're letting it die. I think they're letting it get to this point, so they're forced to separate from the NCAA. You're looking at Rutgers. They're $516 million in debt since joining the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
So they're losing $50 million a year because that's their own fault. You think about Rutgers being in the Big Ten, you're talking about and what else is in the Big Ten now, and all the travel and these secondary sports and everything that you're having to pay for, and you're not really good at football. And Adam, this is where I'm scared for Arkansas, is because if your football program stays where it's at, and then what happens if your basketball program follows suit? What happens if Cal leaves and now you're a mediocre basketball program? You're not generating them that you once had. And if you're now, and this is you're as good as you are in basketball and baseball, but you're horrible right now in football. We hope that changes. But you're barely over a surplus as a whole. So you need to start budgeting better now. And hopefully these concerts and all this stuff comes in, because if you're sitting here saying you get an $18.6 bonus check at more than last year of when it comes to your TV revenue, and you don't know how you're going to pay for this and pay for that, that worries me. So we'll see how that rolls out, but
they'll put that money to another new video board, or hey, we're going to paint the parking lot this color. It's one of those things. Hey, we're getting the jersey patches soon. You never know. Next, it'll be the Arkansas Razorbacks, brought to you by Great Value. I mean, that's going to be the official name.
Yeah.
So.
But on a lighter note, Silverfield went on Pig Trail Nation, and I was very
Great
surprised.
interview.
I got to give him his flowers on that. We didn't get that from any other coach.
Mm-mm.
For him to go on and talk to them and, about the recruiting and all that stuff. And again, very well played out. Very good interview. Gives me hope. And that's what we want to hear. That's what everybody's been screaming. We just want to hear from you. And for him to go out and talk on the news, it wasn't a press conference. It was a straight up one-on-one interview with them, or not a one-on-one, one-on-two, however you want to, if you be technical about it. But it was good to see that he's out there being energetic about the program. He's doing more fundraising than the guy that's supposed to be fundraising. So that right there, it was very good to see. And hopefully that shows where this program is headed, because this year for me, there's no expectations, and this is not digging on him any at all. It's just, it's hard for me to expect much out of what he's doing this year, just because of the size of the hole that they're in. Year 2, year 3, let's see where this thing could go. But I hope that he can turn it around, because we don't know where this college football landscape is going to be in 3 years. Where the SEC is going to be in 3 years. So hopefully he can get things turned around, because if you're going to have to start keeping up with the Joneses when it comes to money, and you got Rutgers over here at $500 million in debt, what it was Florida State in debt?
Like 470.
So 400, you're having schools, they're going to have to start shutting down programs, and we don't want to see that.
No. And, when I got the interview of Pig Trail Nation, I started watching some of it, and at first I was just kind of like, I don't want to watch this. But then I actually sat down and let it play in the background a little bit, and it gained my attention, because like you said, we hadn't seen this. I do want to play it, and this isn't about a minute and a half long, but it's the portion with Peyton Hillis and talking about the former athletes, because that's something that has been missing since basically since Houston Nutt left, was embracing the former athletes.
I understand how important that Arkansas is on the front of our jerseys, and what that means to not only the community, but the former players. So I'm thrilled. Like, I'm going to be begging you to come back, spend time with us. Hopefully when it all settles down, you and I just get the chance to go have dinner and just talk about things and how I can continue to involve all the great Razorbacks and all those that, that bled that Razorback red for us.
I appreciate that. No, I mean, that's welcome to my ears. I mean, honestly, since I've left college, we haven't had a head coach that really does that reached out to at all, and that it's great that you're doing that, because I know it, the guys that I played with, we talk, and, that's always been a point of conflict, with us, is like, we not feel welcome back in the hometown. So I really appreciate that, and I'll be looking forward to it. And I'm going to take you up on it too, so don't worry about that.
No, absolutely. Listen, I want you guys all, as long as you don't have suggestions on plays, that's always start involving the alumni too much and like, hey, we ran this back in my day. And,
Dude was part of the Wild Hog. He was part of it.
And I can say this, and he knows that's the last thing you want. Somebody side seat driving coach. Let's let him do your job. I won't say a word. I mean, you do you, and I've, and from what I've been reading up, I feel like you're going to do a great job.
Well,
really
we're going to do right by you and all the former Razorbacks.
Well, I appreciate
you're
that.
always a Razorback, but all the former players, we're going to do right by you, by the way we represent ourselves in the classroom, the community, on and off the field, by the way we play. And I think that's the thing I can do as a testament to guys like you that played the game the right way.
That's really good. And I think he holds that up on that.
Mm-hmm. And sitting there it could be one of those things that he could say something in passing, just being lip service, just responding to a tweet or a comment. No, he came on the show face to face. Let's have this conversation. And we'll go to dinner. We'll do this. We'll do that. Y'all are welcome back. And yeah, there's been multiple players that have been vocal about this. We had Harold Harris on Hawg HQ Live previously, and that's one thing that he spoke on. I mean, they're just looked at as outsiders, and they're players that gave blood, sweat, and tears to the university to wear that jersey, and they've been treated like less than over there. So I applaud him for that interview, and then for just like manning up to it, like, no, y'all are welcome back. I think this never should have been a thing in the first place.
September 5th, you play North Alabama in Fayetteville. Why not open up the season and invite anybody who wants to come back, and you bring them out on the field at halftime. Really, I think that would be a huge step of showing where I'm going to take this. Invite all the players from. I think that would be a huge statement of not just, hey, we're going to bring back this team or these greats. You hold him to it, but you open the door up for any player that played for me or played for the Razorbacks, come back North Alabama game, and then you build that friendship, you build that relationship with these players, but also you get to know some of these high school coaches. You get to know some of these people around the state. You hold true to who you are, because I don't care what coach, and this is no disrespect to Coach Cal. Everybody loves to go see Cal because how charismatic he is. They want to know how the state of the football program is. Football is king. I don't care what kind of school you want to call it, Arkansas. But if all three schools or all three programs were doing the same, Arkansas is a football school. And that's where you got to get this thing. And he's got a good opportunity to start winning some of these people over and mean it. They're tired of hearing something and it never comes to fruition, or it happens one time and then they're left out in the cold. I think that would be a huge statement that you open the doors up, North Alabama game, and you bring all these players that want to come back, and you don't have to call them out by name, blah, blah, blah. Just this is who showed up. This is how we're going to start my era here at the University of Arkansas. Open the doors. I think that would be a huge deal if they did that.
100%. So I'm sure, if they need any tips or advice or anything, just listen.
Listen to us. Yes. Because we tell
Listen to us. Listen to your former athletes that are going out on social media and talking about these things, that are going to shows like ours and like Hawg HQ Live and having these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that simple.
Yeah, that's how we'll do it. So, Adam, you got anything else before we wrap it up?
Super Bowl Sunday.
Hold the belt up, because I think you've already got it in the bag, don't you?
Yeah, I've already won.
You already got the. See, that's what the thing. I'm gonna have to talk with, because it means, see, the belt means nothing to you anymore. You ain't proud to wear it. You're not proud to have that belt on.
Y'all probably be more upset if y'all knew where the belt was right now.
It's probably above your toilet.
No, it's in a box under my bed.
It's in a box under your bed.
Yeah.
Is that what that means to you now? Okay. Let's see how it is.
So if y'all want to, y'all can, like I told y'all, by all means, if y'all want, y'all can pick all the games next year on what we're picking.
Okay.
But here's the thing is y'all have to be on time. Because after the Monday night game, either Monday night or Tuesday morning, I'm sending y'all who won, who lost, and I'm sending y'all the new pick'em week. So that's going to be on y'all if y'all decide this.
All right. So it might be I don't know. We'll see. Well, we got an off season.
Y'all got plenty of time to figure out a plan.
All right. Are y'all having a show Sunday?
No, we are not. Okay. Super Bowl Sunday, we're off.
So you heard it right there first. No Hawg HQ Live on Sunday. So we'll be back Monday, 6:05. We'll talk about the weekend that was, who's the Super Bowl champ, all that good stuff. Thank you for everybody for tuning in to the Hawg Talk podcast. For Adam Hall, I am Porter Hayes, and we will catch you on Monday.